Status: unknown.
The 4th of July 2022, this unknown indie game developer uploaded his last devlog, where he explained the inner workings of his game and announced the Steam page was coming soon. Since then, there's been no more updates, and Mangaro Tactics is nowhere to be seen on the storefront. What happened to this indie developer? Is the game still coming out? Let's find out why he went silent, and what he's been up to during all this time. After watching some of his videos and navigating his itch.io account, I was able to find some data about this mysterious developer. Turns out, the dev had been working on his strategy game since late 2018 and also participated in some game jams. One of these small games grew out of proportions and was developed in parallel until it finally got released for free in Christmas 2019. The dev kept working on his main game and attended some indie game events in his country until 2020, when the world-changing event happened. Almost 2 years later, in January 2022, he started his YouTube channel, where he gave some art tips and shared his game dev experience and progress, until his last published devlog. But I've got some news for you. This unknown indie game developer is back and hasn't been slacking off. Let me explain. My name is Daniel, and I am the unknown developer. I've used this trick to make it more attention-grabbing and hopefully get you invested in the story, because the alternative would be to make an I'm back kind of video, but I'm not an established creator and no one would care. Why did I stop uploading? The straightforward answer is I couldn't manage to keep up with YouTube and game dev at the same time. It's a lot of work for a solo developer. Grab some popcorn and get a seat, because it will get messy. I had been preparing the channel for a long time, but didn't get results nowhere near the effort I put in the videos. Though I started uploading in 2022, already had the idea back in 2019. I followed many international and a few Spanish devs that were successfully marketing their games through their channels, so if it worked for them, I could try to. But I wasn't ready yet. I was making 2 games in parallel, Mangaro Tactics by myself and the shoot 'em up Voyage Inferno with my friend. Keep in mind, this was a side project, born from a failed game jam. That was dragging too much time and we couldn't see the finish line. After focusing some months just on the game, we ended up releasing it for free on Christmas 2019. A horrible release date, but we had to get it out of the way. After all that effort, we just wanted people to try the game, but it didn't perform well. We got some players, but not what I was expecting. At least, got the experience of releasing a game and to see what happens when you don't have an audience. So I was already burnt out at the beginning of 2020. It was bad, but the worst part, couldn't even sit on the computer to work. And then, the special event of the century took place, and we all got some global fun times. At the end of the year, made the first version of my first video about how to make logos for indie games. But it wasn't until summer 2021 when I got really serious into YouTube. Here, the effort versus result comes up again. My experience taking videos was limited to some family trips, and had only edited my own game trailers. So I basically had to learn everything from the ground up. The importance of lighting, how to set up my old camera to make the most out of it, scripting each video, preparing the set for recording, getting in front of the camera, saying the lines a few times, then finding out Audacity stopped recording because turns out the tablet was almost full and it needed more extra space to work properly. So I ended up getting a proper audio recorder to avoid having to retake more videos. I compared myself to professional creators I watched and wanted to reach as close as possible to their quality level. So I went down the technical rabbit hole and tried to improve on each video with the tools I have or I could get on a budget. Then there's the YouTube part, choosing what videos to make, titles, thumbnails, adding subtitles and more. In my journey to learn how YouTube works, I watched many how to make it on YouTube type videos and advice from many creators. There's even whole channels just making content for new YouTubers, but also watch interviews and tips from giants like MrBeast or PewDiePie and anyone I could learn from. What many of these how to be a YouTuber type channels don't tell you is all the metrics and good stuff for the algorithm might not work if the channel doesn't have some traction already. But there's also new game dev channels popping up with thousands of views on their first videos, while I struggled to even get to 100. and it didn't feel right, especially on the last 2 videos, where I put lots of work on the editing to make it entertaining to watch, and added animations, effects and stuff I didn't know how to do before. This ties in with the pressure of getting views, so my game has more chances of working out commercially, and I could hopefully make a living from my own creations. Trying to optimize the videos is good, but then it was a kind of productive procrastination. I did things like making slightly better versions of each thumbnail or improving the editing instead of scripting or recording the next videos. I think I was overfixating on production value, editing and packaging of the videos to avoid scripting or getting in front of the camera, because there's more friction. Also was worried about my voice not sounding good, was trying to sound clear and not having too much of an accent, but also avoid hurting my voice in the process. All of this is why I stopped uploading, but I haven't been slacking off. On these 10 months silent, I've been working hard on improving my game Bangalore Tactics to a level where I can release the Steam page and trailer for real. There will be in-depth devlogs coming soon, but here's a sneak peek of my game dev progress during that time. Did a complete UI overhaul. Now there's animations for the mining and capturing UI. Also improved the lighting, added particles and visual effects. Took a deep dive into marketing, studied Steam pages and events, and collected YouTuber and streamer emails. Wrote and designed the Steam page, finished and improved some art for the characters and factions. Reworked all the combat backgrounds. Maybe I'm forgetting some stuff, but that's the main things I did. Please don't miss the new devlogs. I will announce when the Steam page is online. See you soon.